So in Autodesk Sketchbook, we can actually bring in JPEG images of elevations created in CAD, and we can start adding effects of light or render the effects of light in an elevation, or render the entire elevation if we want to. So how to do that? At first, when you open Sketchbook Pro, this is going to be your main or default layout. We're going to go to Window, okay, and from Window here, you're going to have a layer editor. So I'm just going to click on the layer editor here, and once I get that, I do have the options to bring in any image inside of my canvas. Now, if we zoom out with the middle mouse wheel, okay, you're going to see the canvas size that we have here. Now, the background, we can change it if we want to. So if I click here, okay, double click inside of color wheel, and the color wheel is going to be displayed. Now I can actually click here on any color, and then you can see that this is changes the background. I can actually deactivate the background itself, so I have a transparent canvas, and I can keep it if I want to. Layer 1 here is anything that I can draw on, and I can also click here to bring this back to white, so we can do that. Now, to bring in the image that I have, I'm going to click here on this button called Add Image. All right, and I'm going to bring in the image, which is going to be JPEG. Immediately, the image is going to be displayed here, and when it's displayed, you're going to have this circle that is moving with you. Okay, I didn't click anything yet. Now this circle is activated once you bring in any image from outside source, and the good thing is that you can actually do a lot of things. You can rotate the image if you want to. If I click inside in this and the circle becomes blue, I'm going to click and move my cursor in and out like that, and then you can see that you definitely can change the size of your image to its maximum. All right, now I'm going to click here, and the image is displayed. Now, for any reason, if you missed or you clicked accidentally on that close transformation button, you can still bring it back with this icon here called Quick Transform. So we're going to click again, and then you're going to see that this is the icon that you get when you add or when you want, once you bring in an image, this is the icon associated with it. Okay, and then you can again make it bigger, make it smaller accordingly, and you can close it from here. Okay, now the other thing we can do is that you can see that it's brought in its own layer. Once I bring in, so the image actually comes with its own layer. It's not automatically added to the layer that you already have. Now I'm going to start adding the effect of light to those wall luminaires here. And to do this, I'm going to create another layer. So I'm going to click here, okay, on those dotted circles, and I'm going to click on the image where you have a plus sign, and this is Control L for add a layer. And once I do that, this is another layer that I will add the effect of light to. I'm just going to zoom in and zoom out a little bit with the middle mouse wheel, and I'm going to start using a tool here, which is a selection tool. Now, all of those are selection tools that I can use, and I'm going to click on the polyline here, and I'm going to zoom in again, right? And I'm going to start clicking at the beginning of the wall sconce, and then move the rubber band, okay, to the side like this. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to click upward here, and then I'm going to move to the other side, trying to make it as much as possible a horizontal line. And then I'm going to click again, and then I'm going to go back to close the selection like this. Okay, now I can start picking the colors that I want to resemble in the inside of the effective light. I'm going to go here to the, I have a tool set here, and this is the airbrush. So I'm going to click on the airbrush, and then I'm going to click on the color wheel or the color editor here. The color editor, when you click on it, you're going to see a display of colors, and you can select any colors. Initially, we want the color to start appearing according to how the light is going to be colored. So we might actually select an orange color, something that looks like that. And once I have a color that I will actually need, I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to add the sample somewhere here. Okay, now I'm going to select another color, which is yellow. So I just want a bright yellow, and then I'm going to move the cursor somewhere here, all right, closer to white. And then again, I'm moving the cursor over here, and I want this to be closer to yellow, not green. I'm trying to sample it. This seems okay, so I'm just going to click here, and then I'm going to add this to next to the other sample that I picked. Okay. Now for the airbrush, I need to actually view the properties of the airbrush. So I'm just going to click on the brush properties here. Now, for any reason, if you don't have this tool set, if you close it accidentally, you're going to go to Window, and then you have something called the brush palette. So from Window, brush palette, okay, and there you go. This is a display. Now the image here, or this icon here, called the brush properties. So I'm going to click on the brush properties, okay, and this is what's going to display. It displays the size of the brush, okay. You can control the size, and you can control the flow. The flow means that I can have it, the opacity of the color is going to be at 40%, and then, or the opacity or the saturation of the color is going to be 100%. So right now, if I clicked here, now this is not the color we want. We want actually to bring in a little bit of the orange that we selected. So if I clicked on it, you can see that when I click with the, I'm clicking multiple times here with the mouse, and you can see that it actually starts to adding the color with some feathering here, which is good because this is what we need. Light is going to start very saturated, and then it's going to fade into white. In between this orange color and the yellow color, there's going to be some fading here. So the color is grading actually between 2 or 3 different light tones. So I'm just going to click here again and start adding, just like that. And I'm going to go back to the orange and adding some feather of the color. Going back again to the airbrush again and adding some fading of the color here. So this somehow is giving me the effect that I need. I might add on the peripheral here some of the yellow, and I'm just going to click here on the orange and click again at the beginning here. All right, so this is a good representation of how you can add the effect of light if you want to. And if I ever want to make things a little bit harsh, or the colors to blend them more, I can actually use something here called the soft eraser. Now if I click on the soft eraser, okay, and the size is okay, and the amount erased is at 40% or 50%, I can kind of erase any of the effect that I created, okay, but not entirely like that. Okay, so here this is again, I can go back with the airbrush. So I'm going to click on the airbrush here, and I'm going to make the flow less, okay, than it is, and I'm going to click on the yellow, and I'm going to add some yellow in here like that. Okay, So after that, just to make, if I'm happy with my with the way that I have created this gradient of light, I can click Control D on my keyboard, and this is going to deselect the the lasso. Okay. Now I want to actually bring in the same effect, okay, for the wall sconce, because this is we assume that the wall sconce is open from both sides. Okay, so if it is open from both sides, what I can do is that I'm going to click here, and once I click on, this is a layer that we created the effect of light in, and I'm going to click on duplicate layer. Okay, duplicate layer, as you can see, kind of created another layer on top. Now I want this layer actually to flip to that side, to flip to the other side. And here's what we can do. We're going to go to the quick transform tool located here, and we're going to click on the rotate button. So I'm going to click here on the rotate button. Okay, and you can see that down at the bottom of the screen, it's telling you if it's 180 degree or 190, and we want it to be 180 degree. And once I get that, I can release the mouse. And then I'm going to click here on the circumference of the bigger circle and move this down here. Okay, somewhere here. And I'm going to close that. Now, one thing I can do is that I'm just going to close it from here. Is that I want to seem that to actually make it feel that the color here is blending well with the other elements inside, or the other interior elements like the vanity frame. So to do that, I can click here on this normal button to open it, and instead of normal, I'm going to click on multiply. And you can see immediately that this changes the way that light is interacting with the other interior element. And I'm going to do this again with this other layer. I'm going to click, and I'm going to click here on normal and make this and turn this to multiply, and I can see through the light as it should be. Okay, so now if I want, I can actually blend those together in one layer, and to do that, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click on this button below called Merge with Below. So I'm just going to drag and click on Merge with Below, and immediately this created, or you can actually check if they are both on one layer when you click here on Hide Layer. So now you can see the effect of light. Now the next thing we want to do is that we want to duplicate this, and to duplicate this, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to select Duplicate Layer, and I'm going to move that layer to that other side. Okay, so we're going to click on the quick transform, and I'm going to making sure that I am on the duplicate layer, and then I'm going to click on with the mouse button on the layer on the circumference of the circle here. So I'm going to click and drag this all the way to the side like this. Okay, now if we close it down, this is what we're going to be left with, which is those two lighting effects that we created for the wall laminates.